Daisy Carter Slater. She joins us now, Executive Director of Excel by 5. We're broadcasting live from MEC's annual meeting today. Daisy, good morning to you.
Good morning, and thank you for having us.
Thanks so much for stopping by. Excel by 5. Let's start very basic. What is that?
Excel by 5 is a community-based organization. We're 20 years old. We celebrated our 20th anniversary on last year, going into our 21st. So we're a community-based. We're a nonprofit organization. We are all about early childhood development, and we focus on 0 to 5 in the family.
I'm assuming that 5 is the 5-year-old that we are talking about. What is the focus there? Because there's so much. I mean, you were talking about the formative years. You probably remember seeing the poster years ago that floated around that says, "Everything I need to know in life I learned by kindergarten."
Right.
It's amazing how much learning happens and how much is absorbed between birth and 5 years old in those formative years.
Right. We have to constantly remind people that early child development starts at 0, not 5. It started at infancy, and it goes up until age 5.
And some people would argue even before birth.
Absolutely. That's why we encourage our mothers to read to the bump. It's very encouraging for them to read early and often. So that's what we love. We want to remind our families and those who are in the field of early child development that consistency, repetition, and always doing it often, especially reading to our little ones, is important.
That's where I was going to go. You mentioned reading a couple of times there. If you had to highlight a single most important thing for early development, is that it? Is it parents reading to children?
Yes, parents reading to children, often and often. Often.
Just make it part of the bedtime routine.
Oh, yeah, consistency. Kids love consistency. They love organization. They love when you have a goal in mind and putting it forth and effort, and bringing them along that process. They are very motivated as well.
Kids grow fast.
They do.
Too,
and we want them to grow and work.
That's 100% true. But I was going to say, if you're looking for like an offshoot benefit to that, so the child is benefiting.
Yes.
I would argue that time that you invest with a child is every bit as valuable for a parent as it is just for the child.
Absolutely. Our parents are getting more than they rarely sometimes believe that they do. They're giving something and giving. It's called serve and return. What you put out to your children, they're most likely to give it back.
Yeah. In terms of resources that are available for parents, if you've got young parents, new parents who are saying, I want my kid to be ready to go when it's time for pre-K, when it's time for kindergarten, what are some practical things that parents can be doing with young children? Because we know that's a chaotic time in life also.
Yep. One thing they can do is reach out to their Excel by 5 community. We're covered in 43 communities in Mississippi, so we're going up and higher in our numbers. But however, we have 43 communities that they can reach out to our Excel by 5 communities for those resources. We have our resource centers located throughout Mississippi that can provide you with all the resources that you need. If you're a child care center, or if you're a mom that's looking for manipulatives, instruments, or toys that will help you in your process of learning. And they can also download the app called Vroom.
Vroom,
yes.
Like VROOM.
Correct, yes. It's an app that will give you all the information that you could possibly need, such as if you're changing your baby, in Vroom they'll give you a little message that say, hey, while you're changing your baby, why don't you sing to your baby? Why don't you recite the ABCs or tell a bedtime story? Or it'll give you an activity during bath time, or even activities while you're in the car on a ride home. So, yeah.
It's great stuff. It's all about engaging with children, right? And sometimes it feels silly, and sometimes it feels like I don't know.
Yeah, we tell our parents now to talk to your children. Even though they can't talk, you can talk to them. Yeah. And that's that serve and return part. And we want them to have the serve and return. It increases their executive function. And when they have great executive function, they can make decisions. They have time management skills. They'll bring more, they'll help with the workforce economy here in Mississippi.
It's a long-term play.
Oh,
it's something to start out with. Daisy Carter Slater, Executive Director at Excel by 5. What's the website where people can go and can find those resource centers, find the communities where you're located?
We're at www.excelby5, the number 5.com.
EXCEL by the number 5.com, or that app. That may be the easiest part to remember. You know, car sound, like a sound that you would make when you're talking to one of those.
You got
vroom, vroom. Vroom is the app. Check that out online. Daisy, thanks so much for coming by. Continued success. Incredibly important work you're doing.
Thank you.
This is Mornings with Richard Cross on SuperTalk Mississippi. We're going to take a quick time out. Jean Massey will join us coming up next. We're going to talk with her about the Propel Education Forum and ascent to 55%. And we'll ask about Lance's question about the paddle and whether or not that was handed down and still exists somewhere along the way. Mornings with Richard Cross, SuperTalk Mississippi. Back with you right after this.